This audio story is taken from one of my books called Facets of Romance. The name of the story is Twist by Chance. It's a story of a chance meeting between two people searching for love. It's a story of romance, relationships, and realizations. Hope you like it.
Finally, it was a dream come true for Ronnie. He was asked to travel to US for a software project deployment. Though it was a short business trip for only a month, Ronnie was jubilant. He had never been abroad before. He looked at Ritu and said,
Look, I'm expected to travel to US on a business trip for a month. It's a very critical project, and I would have to stay focused on my work. It will not be possible to take you with me.
Ritu looked outside the window. They were having an unhappy married life. They were both working. They brought their tensions home and fought over petty little things, and their egos gave way to understanding and compromise that are required for a happy married life. She suspected that her husband was having an affair with a colleague called Pushpa. She was an attractive, fair-skinned lady with a figure that most women envied. She often called Ronnie at odd hours. Ronnie tried to explain that they work on a 24x7 project, and it is very normal to call whenever there is any issue in the project. The explanation did not work. Ritu met Pushpa at a party and found that her husband was quite intimate with Pushpa. They even shared the dancing floor. Ronnie tried to reason that it was just a formality, but Ritu was adamant and accused him of philandering. Love had long disappeared from their marriage. Both Ritu and Ronnie needed some space. When are you leaving?
Friday evening.
Is Pushpa traveling with you?
No, just shut up.
Ronnie was seething with anger. He smashed the flower vase on the floor and walked out of the room. Ritu stared at the broken pieces. Friday was a big day for Ronnie. He spent most of his time running around in order to collect his visa documents, his project files, his tickets, and his accommodation voucher. Ronnie came to office with his bags packed. He would leave directly from office. His manager wished him luck, and Ronnie left office with an air of confidence and exuberance. He would fly to Delhi and catch the Frankfurt flight from there. After a layover of a couple of hours, in Frankfurt, he would be boarding the San Francisco flight that would take him to his final destination. He felt at peace. There would be no more quarrels for a month. He breathed in the fresh air as he landed in Frankfurt. He had enough time for a glass of beer, and he savored every bit of the German beer. The flight from Frankfurt to San Francisco would take around 12 hours. As the flight was announced, he proceeded towards the gate. It was his gateway to bliss. As he was lost in deep thought, someone asked him for a pen. Ronnie passed his pen to the lady. He glanced at the lady for a moment and realized that she was very beautiful with a pleasing smile. Ronnie smiled back and quickly looked away at the glass window. He could see the runway where an aircraft was taking off. He enjoyed the scene like a child. The lady scribbled something in her notebook and gave the pen back to Ronnie. Thank you.
Welcome. By the way, I'm Ronnie.
I'm Tara. Nice meeting you. They shook hands. Ronnie saw her closely. She was wearing business formals and had a file on her lap.
A business trip?
Yes.
That makes two of us.
They both smiled. Tara put away her file and seemed to make an attempt to strike up a conversation with Ronnie, when the flight departure was announced. They quickly took their belongings and queued up at the boarding gate as directed by the airline attendant. They made it through the crowded aisle inside the flight and found their seats. By a stroke of luck, they had adjacent seats. Tara said, "Well, we meet again."
I hope I'll not bore you for next 12 hours.
Not at all. I can definitely put up with some good company.
If I'm not being too personal, may I ask you what work you're involved in?
I'm a software engineer.
Hey, that's great. I'm a software engineer too.
As the flight took off, Tara closed her eyes in fear. She accidentally clutched Ronnie's hands as she was scared of takeoffs. Once the flight was steady, Tara released her hand and felt embarrassed.
It's okay. We all have our fears and phobia.
What are you afraid of?
Me? I'm afraid of project deployment.
They started talking about their projects and the latest technologies in the market. Surprisingly, they discovered that they were traveling for the same project deployment. He was working for the same company, but she was based out of a different location. Soon, the conversation became informal and personal. Tara said, "My daughter is 2 years old. I'll really miss her."
What is the duration of your stay?
1 month.
Time flies. It will be over before you know it. And then you will be reunited with your princess.
Thanks.
What are you thanking me for?
It is because I feel better now. They smiled at each other. They could not sleep as they crossed the globe from east to west, and the sun was always shining on them. It was midnight in Kolkata, but it was broad daylight for them. They tried to sleep for a while, but couldn't. Tara asked Ronnie, "Do you have any kids?"
Not yet.
"You'll miss your wife."
Not really.
"I'm sorry if I intruded in your personal space."
Don't be. It's fine. Anyway, so have you been to US before?
"Yes. I have to travel once in every 6 months."
Wow, you're rich.
Shut up. As the conversation continued, they started to take a liking to each other. They both had unhappy married lives. Tara and her spouse were separated and only met each other on their child's birthday. A flight attendant came with a trolley of drinks.
2 glasses of champagne, please.
They stroked each other's glasses gently as the restless sparkling wine splashed inside their glasses.
Cheers.
Cheers! After a sip, Tara pointed her fingers to the window and said, "Hey, look at those clouds. I love watching the clouds from the window. Look at those mountains. I have traveled so many times, but I never get bored of nature's beauty." Tara was excited like a child. Ronnie was not much of an alcoholic, and the champagne immediately started showing effect.
Not more beautiful than you.
"Excuse me?"
Well, I mean, the clouds and the mountains are beautiful.
Tara laughed. She was dark-skinned and not so slim, but she had a pretty face and an extremely pleasing and gentle voice. Ronnie's subconscious mind fell for her completely. Tara said, "This is your first trip abroad. You should try to get some sleep. Else, you can have a severe jet lag." They both rested for a while. The Airbus A380 was cruising at 800 kilometers per hour towards its destination. The pilot was doing a great job. The flight was so smooth that Ronnie did not realize how many hours he had slept before he was awakened by an announcement by the captain.
Good morning, passengers. Welcome to California. We will land in San Francisco shortly. Please put your seat belts on. All non-US travelers are requested to fill up the I-94 form. Thank you for flying with us.
Ronnie asked Tara,
What is this I-94 form all about?
"Well, You just need to fill up a form. They will stamp an expiry date at the immigration. You are required to leave US before the expiry date.
Oh, I see.
It was a sunny Saturday morning. The flight touched down at the San Francisco airport, and Ronnie felt excited and nervous at the same time. He had heard so much about California. After getting down from the flight, Ronnie took a deep breath, and the fresh air reinvigorated him.
I will be headed to Ramada. Where are you staying?
Don't tell me. I am staying at Ramada too. I think the entire project team is staying there.
Hey, that's great.
They claimed their baggage and cleared the immigration without much fuss. They hired a taxi and headed towards the hotel. The next day, Ronnie was busy presenting the deployment process to the client. Tara was preoccupied with her own thoughts. Matthew, the IT manager, asked,
What do you think, Tara?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Richard, the technical analyst, asked. Are we good to go? Ronnie said. We're all set. Our team will be right on it.
Everybody shook hands with each other and left the conference room. As the deployment commenced, Ronnie and Tara worked hard and left no rocks unturned to make sure that the deployment is on schedule. Towards the end of the working hours, Ronnie looked at Tara and asked,
Time for coffee?
I'm dying for one. My head is about to explode. They went to the cafeteria. Ronnie went to the vending machine and brought 2 cups of strong espresso and placed it on the table. They sat opposite each other. They stared at each other for a moment before Ronnie broke the ice.
Who is taking care of your daughter?
She is with her father.
Does he love your daughter?
It seems so. Well, we fight over every little thing, and there is no understanding between us. We are not happy. That's why we choose to stay separate.
Are you happy now?
I don't know.
You have the right to be happy. Let me give it a try. How about we go out for dinner after work?
Thanks for the invitation, but I don't feel like going out today.
Then let's order something in our room, please.
Okay. They finished their coffee and were soon busy with their work. Tara felt Ronnie was one of the best engineers she had ever worked with. He had an answer for everything. She felt a strange attraction to Ronnie. He was not exactly handsome. He was of average height. He was neither short nor tall. He was slim and fair-skinned. What stood out was his personality. He was very kind and understanding. The first day at work went on very well. They were a little ahead of schedule. Ronnie advised the team that they should always be a little ahead of schedule to keep a buffer to accommodate any unforeseen challenges. He was a smart project leader, and the clients were happy with the first day's progress. Tara looked after the infrastructure part. She made sure that she had everything in order so that the deployment team can do their work as planned. They met at the hotel lobby after work. Tara said, "You were fantastic."
And so were you. So, can I change and come to your room?
Sure, I'll be waiting for you. They shared a great understanding with each other. Ronnie found peace of mind. He wished that he shared the same bond with his wife. He thought about Ritu for a moment. Soon, he dismissed his thoughts and went to take a shower. As the water from the shower trickled over his body, he felt a great desire was slowly engrossing him. He never felt so good in a long time. He put on his best perfume and dressed in his best casuals. The doorbell rang at room number 103. Tara checked the eye hole and opened the door ajar with a beautiful smile. Come in.
Let the party begin.
Ronnie was in his element. No quarrels, no accusations, no agony. He was happy. They pulled the chairs and placed them on opposite sides of the center table. Right beside the table was a large window. The San Francisco city lights were looking like diamonds studded in the dark. The view from the window was magnificent. They were both relaxed. Tara asked softly, "Shall we start with some good red wine?"
Why not? What do you have in mind?
It's your first trip to US. Let's make it memorable for you. Tara called room service and ordered for a bottle of Robert Mondavi Merlot. The exotic view from the window was a perfect setting for a romantic date. Tara and Ronnie did not realize when they got carried away. After a couple of glasses of wine, they stood face to face. They could hear saxophone music coming from the next room. Ronnie held out his hand and Tara immediately reciprocated. They started dancing in the ill-lit hotel room.
This must be destiny.
It was written in the stars.
Suddenly, Tara lost balance and fell into Ronnie's arms. Ronnie slowly brought her close to his chest and their lips locked. The saxophone music in the background and the effect of the red wine catalyzed their passion. The passionate kiss was followed by lust burning in their bodies. Tara slowly unbuttoned Ronnie's shirt, exposing his tough, manly chest. Ronnie carried Tara and put her gently on the bed. Ronnie kissed Tara passionately as he undid a few hooks and pulled down her dress. Tara put her arms around Ronnie's neck and made no efforts to resist his move. Ronnie kissed her neck gently while Tara held his head and pressed it hard on her bare bosom. The fragrance of each other's skin drove them crazy. Two broken hearts found solace in each other's embrace.
All of a sudden, the fire alarm went off. It could not have been a worse anticlimax to such an intimate romantic scene. Everyone was rushing downstairs. Ronnie quickly covered Tara with his shirt and ran out of the room. The security personnel requested everyone to assemble at a designated spot. There was a minor fire in one of the lower floors, apparently due to a live cigarette butt. The fire was soon extinguished by expert personnel, and everyone was allowed to go back to their rooms. It was late already. Next day's work would start early. They had to report to office by 7 a.m. Tara called room service and ordered for dinner. They quietly finished their dinner, not knowing how to react after their sudden affair. They smiled at each other and returned to their rooms. Ronnie had both guilt and ecstasy in his heart. He tried to fight off the guilt and delve into the feeling of ecstasy. The next day, it was business as usual. The deployment was going on as per schedule, as both Tara and Ronnie worked hard to make sure that there was no slippage. They finished their work at 9 p.m. and grabbed a cup of late-night coffee before leaving for their hotel. Ronnie tried to break the ice. This is the first time they were interacting after their affair. He said, "Quite a day, huh?"
Yes, but do you think we can deliver on time? There is a mix-up in the application smoke testing. They need to fix it fast, otherwise we will be behind schedule.
I think they'll make it. Arvind is leading the offshore development team in India. He's quite capable. I know him. He's a great guy. Tara seemed uneasy.
There is something you should know.
What's bothering you?
Arvind is my husband.
I see. Ronnie stood still for a while and then slowly walked up to Tara. He held her hands and said, "Ever since I met you, I have never been so happy in my life."
Me too.
As the situation eased, they planned to go somewhere nearby the following day. They would leave early and spend some time with each other. They were still confused about the strange relationship that they were in. They needed some fresh air. The next day, the deployment team had nothing to do till all the bugs were fixed by the development team. Ronnie and Tara left early. They were on call and had to report immediately if they were summoned by Matthew. Matthew said, "Enjoy your outing. You can try Pier 39. It's a beautiful place." Ronnie said, "Thanks. If you need us, just give us a call." Matthew nodded with a smile and disappeared into his room. Ronnie held Tara's hand and tugged her gently. They hailed a cab and were soon speeding down 101 North Freeway. They sat close to each other. Tara seemed to be in deep thought. Ronnie asked, "What are you thinking?"
I don't know. I feel guilty.
"We are friends. It's true that we were in love for a moment, but love is not a crime. We are perfect for each other because it makes us happy. Everybody has the right to be happy."
It's extramarital. It's not right.
Are we happy in our marital lives? Don't we have the right to be happy? Are we not friends?
Yes, we are friends, and let's keep it at that.
Well, all right. I think we started off on the wrong foot. Let's start over again.
I'm Ronnie. And you?
Okay, I'm Tara. Nice to meet you, Masha.
They shook hands. They both felt relaxed. They reached the famous Pier 39. The live rock music in the background enhanced their mood. They danced clumsily. This time it was not a close dance. It was pure fun. They enjoyed the seafood. They visited the beautiful aquarium. They never imagined an aquarium could be so huge. There was a glass tunnel through which the spectators were walking. There were all kinds of fish flaunting their bright colors. A huge shark passed over the roof of the tunnel. They watched in awe. Most beautiful of all the species were the jellyfish. They were glowing in the dimly lit hall. It was gorgeous. After the aquarium, they stood in front of the bay for a while. The fresh air and the sight of the beautiful deep blue water brought smiles to their faces. Ronnie said, "Let's share an ice cream."
They got a double scoop of chocolate ice cream and shared it from the same cone. They looked at each other. Ronnie pushed the cone lightly on Tara's nose and Tara did the same. They looked at each other's brown noses and laughed their hearts out. Everything seemed perfect till Tara's phone started ringing. Tara received the phone and said,
Tell me.
The voice on the other end was not audible.
What? I'll try to be there.
Tara looked somber.
My daughter had an accident and she's in the hospital with some head injuries. Arvind is with her. I must go.
Tara burst into tears in Ronnie's arms. Ronnie kissed her head and patted her gently. Ronnie whispered, "Everything will be fine." His heart ached too because he knew this could be the end of a beautiful friendship. Ronnie asked. She's stable, right?
Yes.
I'll talk it out with Matthew. You tell your backup at offshore to be ready for night shifts so that work is not impacted.
You're right.
She made a few phone calls to the offshore team. Ronnie called Matthew to apprise him of the sudden development. They returned to office immediately. Matthew said, I heard about your daughter. I'm sorry. You can leave tomorrow. Today you will have to complete your tasks and then your offshore team can take over from tomorrow. I know it's hard for you, but the show must go on.
I understand.
Ronnie said, I'll get in touch with the concierge services. They would arrange for her ticket. Matthew shook hands with both of them and left. Richard came rushing in.
How is the baby?
Not good, but stable.
I'm really shocked. How did this happen?
Streets of India are not very safe. It was a speeding motorbike coming from the wrong direction. It is a hit and run case. The motorist was never found.
Wretched lunatic. Anyway, you pack your bags and don't worry about the project. I'll handle everything.
Thanks, Richard, for being so kind.
Don't thank me. Thank you. You had been doing excellent work.
Thanks again for everything.
Tara tried to manage a faint smile and left. The development team was still working on the bugs. Ronnie and Tara did not have much work to do and left as soon as they were done with their routine work. Ronnie said, Colleen called me. She has managed an early morning flight to Frankfurt and you will have a connecting flight to New Delhi.
Thanks.
She looked up at Ronnie. She suddenly realized they may never meet again. Ronnie asked, What's wrong?
We will be friends. But I don't know if we will ever meet again.
Tara had a forlorn look on her face. Ever since Ronnie had heard the news of Tara's daughter, he wished he had a child of his own. His paternal instincts brought tears to his eyes. Ronnie said, You are the best friend I ever had, and I am absolutely not sorry for whatever happened between us.
Ronnie, I will always remember you. But I have my own responsibilities. Arvind is a good father.
I understand. I too need to give life a second chance. I want to be a father too. Ronnie remembered Ritu's beautiful face after a long time. In the early hours of the next daybreak, the two friends were standing at the sprawling San Francisco airport and felt like two inferior souls in the madding crowd. People were rushing for check-in, security, and last-minute boarding. Ronnie had to stop at the gate. Tara would soon disappear into the crowd. Ronnie put his hand on Tara's shoulder and said, Your child will be all right. Tara looked at Ronnie's moist eyes.
I have you.
I have you. Ronnie took Tara's hands in his and squeezed them gently. As Tara turned around and disappeared into the crowd, Ronnie stood all alone in the crowded city. It was the end of a beautiful tryst by chance. Thank you for listening to us, and please like and subscribe if you like the story. Thank you.